Welcome to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with Rebecca Hall Gruyter. In our program each week, we provide the tools, ideas, and encouragement to help you move ahead on your journey, becoming a more powerful and impactful woman in your own life. Now here's your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter.
Welcome, everyone. I hope you're having an amazing day. I'm so honored to have you leaning in and joining the conversation with us. This month, we have been focused on a couple things. We've been focused on springing forward. How do we keep that forward momentum going? And then we've been looking at love, and we've been approaching that from a lot of different angles, because this is a month frequently with Valentine's Day that the conversation comes up. And we have lots of different thoughts and feelings about love. And so I wanted to bring in experts to support us. And today we're going to be focusing on discovering love in your feminine self. Got three amazing experts that are going to pour into us and support us in this discussion. But I'd love for you to take a moment and think about, have you stopped recently, paused, and appreciated anything about yourself lately? Have you stopped and recognized, or even, thank you, legs, for carrying me here. Thank you, body, for holding my heart and soul and spirit. Have we stopped and given ourselves appreciation? We do so much every day, and I feel like we're really good at doing. And sometimes we're forgetting to be and appreciate being. Appreciate who we are. And each of you are a powerful, special, uniquely made, beautifully made gift. And I want to make sure that you're remembering to remind yourself about that. Appreciate, treat yourself with great love and respect. Appreciating the amazing gift that you are. It is such an honor and a privilege to have you leaning into this time together today. And I know there is something here for you today by the very nature that you've tuned in and are listening. And I want you to be able to get the most out of our time together today. So to do that, it's really important to be present, purposely present, ready to receive everything that is here for you. So avoid multitasking, avoid trying to run off and do things during the breaks, but really give yourself time to be present and receive and process real time everything that has been lovingly prepared for you today. Because there is something here for you in our time of connection and pouring into you. We are committed to helping you live your life on purpose and with great purpose. So let's take a moment. Those of you who are driving, please stay safe, both hands on the wheel, eyes open, inwardly tuning in. Those of you who are able to, though, let's put both feet on the floor. Feel it supporting you. Sit back in that chair. Put one hand on your heart, one hand on your head, bringing you all in, mind, body, soul, and spirit. And take a breath in through the nose, out through the mouth, like you're breathing through a straw. Wonderful. Keep breathing, and as you're breathing in through that nose, see actually how big you can make your belly, how deep you can bring that breath in, and then out. Eyes closed, you're absolutely safe. Hand on your heart, hand on your head, bringing all of you in as you're breathing, mind, body, soul, and spirit. And as you're breathing, I want you to picture all that rich, beautiful oxygen coming in to every beautiful cell of your body, nourishing it. Beautiful. When we breathe like this, it helps us become very present. Keep breathing, lowers our stress levels, our cortisol levels, which helps us have clarity. We make better decisions. We actually can hear things more clearly when we're fully present and oxygenated. And in this space, as you're breathing and enjoying this beautiful breath this beautiful oxygen pouring into your body with great love, I want you to just check in and see, what is it that you need today? What is it that will encourage you, uplift you, empower you? What is it that you need that's being laid on your heart that you are willing to receive because you have choice? So what is it that you need and are willing to receive, and see if that adjusts things a little bit. Sometimes when we add in the willing to receive, it can shift the information a little bit. It's good to note that. So receive that information. Take another breath. Beautiful. Open up your eyes, become fully present, and take a moment to write down what was laid on your heart. Let's keep it top of mind, what it is that you need today and are willing to receive. It's easy to get distracted, forget, move on to the next thing, and miss that very answer that's right in front of us because we're looking the other way. So let's keep it on top of mind and actively be looking with excitement, unattached to how, actually looking forward to being surprised at how that need is met. And hands open, ready and willing to receive. Let's lift that up. Breathe that in. Beautiful. We're going to go around our virtual room here and talk with our amazing guest experts on a heart level. And as we do that, I'm going to have each of them share just 15 seconds, 20 seconds, when we stopped and listened for a moment, what was laid on their heart. So with that, Lorraine, I would love for you to share. Yep, Lorraine, are you there? We will come back for Lorraine's share in just a moment. Dr. Nancy, what was laid on your heart?
Well, aside from my cat Callie, who came up and laid right across my chest, right across my heart, what comes through is I taught a class this morning, and as we were finishing up for the day, I reminded these 6 young women in the class that they are powerful. And that it is time for them to step into that power and to, I said, go forward in your power.
Yes.
And that is still resonating and being there really, really strongly. It's time for all women to do that, myself included.
Yes. I love that. And I like that step into your power and forward. There's a directional movement in that. Thank you.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Sure.
And how about you, Christine? What was laid on your heart?
What was laid on my heart was the reminder that giving and receiving happens both in our hand and in our heart space. Mm-hmm. And that they're two unique actions. And so when we're looking to receive something, to always be open to that infinity loop that runs between the giving and receiving in our hand and the giving and receiving in our heart.
Beautiful. I love that. And that there is a connection there, that giving and receiving, mm-hmm. and that keeps that movement, that loop going. Beautiful. Thank you. And Lorraine, how about you? What was laid on your heart?
For me, today I've been feeling a little uncomfortable, and this is a personal share, but I've been feeling a little uncomfortable because I have really intense cramps. So while we were doing that exercise, that breathing exercise, I was called to direct a lot of heart energy down to my sacral area, to my womb space, in order to kind of help balance some of the tension.
Yep.
And I feel a lot lighter and less heavy. And, and so I guess for me, it's a helpful reminder, and I tell my clients this all the time, that healing, it happens, it doesn't have to be complicated. It could be very powerful. And I was disconnected, actually. I had to come back into the show. So that was a nice energetic shift. Thank you.
Absolutely glad you're here. And thank you for sharing, because you're right. Sometimes we can make things more complicated than they need to be. And when we're in pain or discomfort, isn't it a relief and beautiful to know that it can be eased, and there are simple things we can do to help bring those things back into alignment and ease some of that discomfort. Oh, beautiful. Thank you for sharing. And I'm glad you're fully connected.
Thank you.
And we are getting ready to go to our first commercial break. And what I'd love for us to do, listeners, is to stay in the space of breathing, listening, and receiving, and see what's being laid on your heart, what resonated with what our experts were sharing was laid on theirs, and what you might add to that, and where you can send that loving breath to ease any place that is feeling tense, uncomfortable, and tight, that you can send some loving breath and energy to it. And with that, we will give you these 2 minutes, and when we come back, we will continue our conversation. Look forward to talking to you in just a moment.
Be sure to friend us on Facebook. You can do it right now. Visit facebook.com/Voice America or search for us at keyword Voice America.
Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit empoweredconnectionstv.com. That's empoweredconnectionstv.com. And make the most of an incredible life transformation.
Get Unchained. Tune in every Monday for Jane Unchained on the Voice America Influencers channel, featuring nationally recognized best-selling author, TV journalist, and social media influencer Jane Velez Mitchell. This program takes you inside a trending lifestyle that's the next wave of human evolution. It all starts on your plate. If you want to revolutionize your life, get happier, more energized, then discover the secret. Tune in to Jane Unchained Mondays at 10 a.m. Pacific Time and 1 p.m. Eastern Time on the Voice America Influencers channel. Rebecca Hall Gruyter's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at speakertalentsearch.com. That's speakertalentsearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message.
Have you had a chance to check out Voice America's online magazine and blog? If you love our hosts and shows, check out articles that give an even deeper perspective, plus topics about health and fitness, movie reviews, philosophy, business tips and tactics, spirituality, positive thought, current events, and even more about your favorite host. It's just a click away at blog.voiceamerica.com. That's blog.voiceamerica.com. The Voice America Press Blog. All access, all the time.
We don't follow, we lead. Join us, the Voice America Influencers channel. You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-866-472-5795. That's 1-866-472-5795. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed those 2 minutes, that pause, that moment to process, integrate, and listen, receive, and send that loving breath and energy to wherever it was needed to support you in a very powerful way. We're going to continue our conversation today talking with each of our experts one by one, and they're going to add to this conversation that we're having about discovering how to love our feminine selves. How do we do that, live that, breathe that? on a daily basis while we're continuing to move forward those things that matter most to us. So our first amazing expert is Christine Agro, and you're going to love her energy. She is a spiritual teacher, conscious living expert, international best-selling author, and she has been featured on Vogue, Elite Daily, Late Night with Seth Meyers, and the New York Times. She is passionate about helping you step into inner peace, clarity, and flow. Please lean in and warmly welcome the amazing Christine Agro to the show. Welcome!
Oh, Rebecca, thank you so much. I adore you. You're so sweet.
Aw, well, I feel the same back at you, so I'm thrilled.
Thank you.
You are welcome. I'm thrilled to have you here. I know our listeners are going to be so served by what you'll be sharing with them. And I'd love for you to share a little bit about why this work that you do, really helping people step into their inner peace, clarity, and flow. Why is that work personally so important to you?
You know, the simplest answer is that it's what I'm called to do. When I look at my deepest sort of overarching why, it's to really share what I know. And that's what I know. So that's the simple answer, I think. I mean, I could give you a much longer, deeper answer, but...
No, that's good. And I was just thinking as I'm listening to you and feeling what you're sharing, I want to add joy. So inner peace, joy, clarity, and flow.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, love it. And I know that you talk about being full of yourself. And I think we have certain connotations or things we think of when we hear that phrase, full of yourself. And it's not always seen positive in a positive way. Yet, I'd love for you to add to the conversation when you have this philosophy that is actually very important, that we are full of ourselves. What do you mean when you bring that to the table and you start that conversation with us?
Yeah, I mean, you touched on it. You just touched on it that so often we are told from a very young age not to be full of ourselves, right? And I understand that the premise there is not to be in our ego, but what we learn is to actually, not be empowered, not be full of who we are, our truth, our gifts, our whatever it is that we are bringing forward, because we have that voice running through our head not to be full of ourselves, that it's somehow not okay. And what I really want people to know is that there is no one other than yourself that you should be full of. and that's we can absorb so many things, and so really we should be filling ourselves in with who we are and the gifts that we bring, and just everything that is light and powerful about ourselves. We shouldn't apologize for it. We should bring it.
I love that. We are each a gift, and you're absolutely right. And I just want listeners to hear that. I know we were laughing, but we get confused on this. You're right. We shouldn't be full of anything else or anyone else. We should be who we fully are, and that's really the gift that we can bring the world, is being and honoring who we truly are, and being willing to share that. So I want everyone to take note of that the next time you hear that voice, if you hear that voice sometimes, don't be so full of yourself. Ask that question, well, who should I be full of? That is who I am. So you have a response, and you can help shift that voice in our head. So what other tips can you give us about how we can maybe start being more full of ourselves, more who we are?
Yeah, I think one good thing to look at is when somebody can't have us fully, right? Maybe they can only have 50% of who we are, or 70%. That doesn't mean that we have to be less of who we are. Just let them take the percentage that they can have. Continue to be 100% of you. Don't lower your vibration, your abilities, your light, your power to match what other people can have of you. be full. Be at 100%.
I love that.
Tip.
So good, because we hear that. And sometimes we tell ourselves, sometimes we hear people outside ourselves wanting us to be less in some way. And I love that perspective that instead, let them take the percent they can handle, but let's not dial back who we are. Let's bring it forward fully. Oh, in that can be a stretch. That can feel a little bit uncomfortable. How can we love ourselves in that? How can we remind ourselves how needed that is and what a gift it actually is to fully be full of ourselves and bring that forward?
Yeah, I think if we can, I think it kind of goes back to what was laid on my heart when at the beginning of this idea of the infinity loop of giving and receiving, and if we can recognize that loving ourselves and being full of ourselves is such an essential part of that infinity loop. That if we, the things that we want in our life, we have to be giving to ourselves as much as we're giving to others. And I think we do tend to be oftentimes, pouring from an empty cup. So it's so important to be in that infinity loop of giving to ourselves, and whether that's through the food that we eat, or exercise, or breathing, or just a mantra of self-love, like whatever it is, it's constantly seeing ourselves filling up to the top with our own vibrancy, our own dynamic.
Those things that fill us up, that lift our heart, lift our vibration. Do you mind sharing something you do that supports you? Just so they have an example.
I have a visualization tool as part of my meditation practice. At the end, I envision a really big gold sun, and into it I put whatever energy I want to fill in with at the time, but oftentimes it is self-validation. It is my highest vibration. I like to use like a color, like like whatever that, like I have like a sparkly, goldy, silvery purple that represents me. And so I'll fill in with that. I will actually energetically fill in with that energy.
Beautiful.
Right, and by doing that, you are making sure that you're not taking on other people's stuff. You are consciously saying, I'm filling in with me.
Beautiful. And I love how you defined exactly what that color is, what mixture it is. That's you. And you're
that is me.
bringing that into you so fully. Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. I was just picturing you just arms up and receiving and having that beautiful energy poured into you. I love it. So thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you.
Well, absolutely. And listeners, we're getting ready to go to our next commercial break. And what I'd love for you to do is, as those beautiful commercials that are sharing updates, things we want you to be aware of, are playing in the background, to really stay present and see what's being spoken into your heart and spirit. Maybe if you were to describe what fills you up, what lifts your spirit, maybe it's dance or a certain song, or it's a beautiful color that you're going to fill yourself with. What does that look like? What does that feel like for you? And when we come back, we're going to continue the conversation. Enjoy these 2 minutes.
Think you've seen everything there is to see in online television? Let us surprise you. Visit voiceamerica.tv today for sports, health, business, and more on demand 24/7.
Rebecca Hall Gruyter's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at speakertalentsearch.com. That's speakertalentsearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message.
Sustainable success is just around the corner. If you are an entrepreneur, business leader, or anybody looking for their next level of success, tune into Sustainable Success with host Chris Salem. Did you know that the path to success is a long path that started many years ago? The path you started on then determines what is happening now. Chris and his amazing guests in their field will help you navigate the path to sustainable success every Thursday at 12 noon Eastern Time and 9 a.m. Pacific on the Voice America Influencers Channel.
Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit empoweredconnectionstv.com. That's empoweredconnectionstv.com. And make the most of an incredible life transformation.
Tune in to the Voice America Variety channel on the Voice America Talk Radio Network. Voice America Variety broadcasts a diverse array of topics, reaching a global community. Our experts come from all walks of life, and the topics they discuss are everything from current events, arts and entertainment, leadership, parenting, relationships, self-improvement, career advice, and a variety of other topics. Check us out today. You're sure to find something of interest. Voice America Variety. Talk on today's hot topics.
Change starts here. Change starts now. Join us, the Voice America Influencers Channel.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-866-472-5795. That's 1-866-472-5795. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed those 2 minutes and thinking about what fills you up so you can be more of you. And I wanted to take a moment and acknowledge a sponsor of ours. We have some amazing sponsors that really believe in each and every one of you, and they help make this show possible. And what I think is special about sponsors is they are putting their brand and their resources behind us to make this show possible, which means before you even know about them, they believe in you and are wanting to support you. So if you could take a moment and listen, and I'd love to share a little bit about this sponsor. Its name is Zola. That's Z as in zebra, O-L-A. And Zola, I think, is such an appropriate sponsor to talk about in February when we're looking at the season of love, because perhaps you know someone or you yourself have gotten engaged recently and are starting to think about that wedding and registration and registry, I should say, and planning and all of those details. And what Zola does is they actually create ease in that. I remember when I got married, it was 10 years ago, it was a stressful experience to coordinate everything. And what I think is beautiful is that Zola has stepped in and said, let's ease that. Let's make this easier for people. And so they created a site on Zola.com, Z-O-L-A, that's a free wedding website. It has all of these resources, those questions. We're not quite sure how to address this or that, or do we need to know this, or how is this handled, what's appropriate. It gives you all of that support so that you have ease in planning your wedding or a friend's wedding if you know somebody that recently got engaged. So let's make sure to share out about Zola, who is bringing ease to the whole process of planning, from the ease of a free website that's easy to set up. It just takes a few moments, to the save the date, and they actually give great discounts on beautiful invitations that you can personalize and send out. So they're really a partner walking beside you, or those you know and love, that are looking forward, leaning in to getting married. And let's create a joyful experience for them in great ease. And that's what I feel like Zola does with all the resources they provide. You can build a beautiful dream registry, and they create great ease, bringing all of that information, tools, and resources to one site to support you. And in honor of February, in honor of you being our listeners listening in, they wanted to give a special deal to you. So here's what it is, and here's how you get it. You go to Zola, ZOLA.com/empowering women, which is very much in alignment with our show today. So Zola.com, empowering women, and that will give you $50 off your registry. So not only are they giving you a free website and supporting you, they're also wanting to help you get those pieces set up and give you a beautiful discount of $50. So I encourage you to lean in. Let's get the word out. And Zola, I just want to thank you for leaning in, supporting our show, and creating ease in the process of people coming together and joining their lives together in such a beautiful way. So thank you. And listeners, make sure to check out their site. Again, that's Zola.com, ZOLA, and then to get that discount, /empowering women is the code. Wonderful. I'm glad to have all of you coming back as we continue our beautiful conversation about discovering love, how to love your feminine self. And Lorraine is our next amazing guest I'm going to formally introduce to you. And I wanted to just what you shared with us in the beginning is so appropriate for what you're going to be supporting with us today, supporting us with today in our conversation. And so Lorraine is so many amazing things. Actually, it was difficult for me to choose the pieces to share. So here are the pieces I chose to share. She is a Bronze Stevie Award winner of Women Helping Women for 2013 and 2016. Just huge honor. She's an intuitive healer, a UC Reiki master, certified quantum energy transformation. She's certified in that. And quantum touch, an integrated energy therapy, and a radio show host, and international best-selling author. And she's absolutely passionate about helping women connect to what she calls down there, our female reproductive organs down there, and helping us connect in an empowering, positive, and healing way. So let's lean in and warmly welcome the amazing Lorraine Giordano. I keep help me again, Lorraine. I do that. Giordano, thank you. The fabulous Lorraine Giordano to the show. Welcome.
Woo! So happy to be here.
Thrilled to have you here. I always try to make your last name more complicated. I don't know why I do that. But I'm okay. Thrilled to have you here, and would love for you to share why this work that you do of helping us connect and even talk about like down there, that can be a subject we're not comfortable with. Why is this work of helping us in this way so important to you?
Well, what inspired me was my own personal journey. I had a lot of female reproductive issues. I was diagnosed with cysts, endometriosis, hyperplasia, which I didn't even know what that was, but my uterus lining was thick. I had severe, like going to the ER, debilitating period cramps, and even ovulating cramps. And so I was very disconnected from my body. And for many, many moons, I wasn't really familiar with chakras, energy centers. So in 2008, I had an awakening where my doctor said, we're going to take out your uterus. You're going to have a hysterectomy to prevent the threat of cancer. So it woke me up and inspired me to say, okay, this is not a good situation. Perhaps it's time for me to create a win-win, a more loving relationship with my body in order to help heal. Maybe I had a chance to save my uterus, and I'm happy to say that I did. And in that journey, it inspired me to just tap in. I'm not the only one out there that was very disconnected, and how can I bring more awareness to down there? That it's a heavily charged area, a lot of taboo. But I'm very passionate about spreading awareness of down there, from an energetics and from a physical perspective.
Beautiful. And thank you for sharing your very, personal journey on that. And I love that I celebrate with you that you're able to save your uterus. That's beautiful. And that has led you to support other women and really help us connect and support and have a positive relationship instead of it being taboo to talk about down there or connect with it, making that actually a very powerful, positive way that we can. And one of the things when we first met that I appreciated about you is you were able to talk about this subject that can be taboo. It can make people squiggle and uncomfortable, and you did it in a positive, practical way. And I first experienced watching you on a video, and you had this, I think it was like a little feather pointer that directed energy.
A magic wand.
A magic wand. There we go. A magic wand that helped kind of direct down there or up here, and it made it approachable and easy to connect and follow the powerful information that you're sharing. So I really appreciate that you make this subject approachable. So I'd love for you to
I think it's supposed to be playful.
Mm-hmm. No, it was. And you had great humor that you brought, but it never took away from the powerful information that you were sharing. Would you share why perhaps we get disconnected and how maybe we can start shifting that?
Well, I mean, it'd be a long conversation to get into the whole patriarchy, but I do think that I don't think there's enough curiosity or fun or conversation about just how powerful a woman's female reproductive organs are, or even from a sense of the sacral, energy center of creativity, passion, joy. I think for where we are right now, we're kind of going through a period of balancing masculine and feminine energy for greater balance. And it's a little bit rocky with some of the stuff that's going on. A lot of women are having problems getting pregnant or giving birth. So I think there's a huge opportunity for deeper conversations in order to create just more awareness and more power, an empowered kind of relationship with our own bodies, and then collaborating with other women in that journey.
Thank you. And I think that's important because sometimes we will run into this block and we think it's negative and we turn away versus opening up the conversation and bringing in information and bringing in positive energy. And you've talked about energy a bit, and I know this ties into the chakras, and I just think some people may not be familiar with chakras and why that's important in this discussion.
Yeah, from a practical perspective, there was a survey done, and I think it was done in England, and 60% of the women surveyed weren't able to identify their ovaries, where their ovaries are. So from a practical physicality perspective, and I think if that survey was done in the United States, the numbers would be similar. So just a basic location, geography, function, I think there's a huge opportunity there. Because if you have a problem, how do you talk about it to your doctor? Now, as far as an energy center, chakras, we have a lot of them, but there's 7 main ones that run up and down our spine. And at the root is our sense of safety and security, which is at the base of our spine, and then your sacral chakra is right below your navel. And so that's tied to the energy of going with the flow in life, deep emotions, and creativity, passion, joy, which are some of the topics we were talking about earlier in the opening. And so the ability to kind of help balance, because most of us are living in our heads, right? We tend to spin on things, especially as women, and women are doing kind of access the energy even below our stomach area, which relates to doing. So a lot of women are doing, and because of that, there's an overactivation, and to go lower to accessing the sacral and the roots, it's kind of using all the elevators of the floor rather than just stopping at, well, what am I doing? You talked earlier about being. How can I be more in the moment without having to focus on doing for my sense of security?
Yes. Thank you. And I think this ties in, like, exactly what you're saying, the conversation we were having with Christine as well. And listeners, did you hear some of those common words about flow and joy that's tied into that area of us? And if there are blocks there, it can be more difficult. Like you're saying, we're not accessing all floors. And to see if that may be going on, and if it is, that you can get support and you can tap into more parts of who you are and what is available to you. Thank you, Lorraine, so much for sharing. I really appreciate you stepping in and bringing information and encouragement and insight in this important area of our bodies.
Yeah, and I think it's a personal journey. So what would inspire you to create a deeper relationship? Loving yourself, loving your ability to create, whether it's giving birth to a baby or giving birth to a new job, a relationship, allowing for that flow, that sense of experimentation rather than perfection to come in.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. And listeners, we're getting ready to go to our next commercial break here. And as we do that, I want you to think about what Lorraine has been sharing with us and really take a moment to stop, pause, breathe. Maybe even put your hands lovingly right over your navel there, right over your belly button and just below, and check in. Send some love and support and energy. And with that, we will look forward to talking to you in just 2 minutes.
Follow us on Twitter at VoiceAmericaTRN. Get the lowdown on guests, new shows, and your favorites. That's VoiceAmericaTRN. Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit empoweredconnectionstv.com. That's empoweredconnectionstv.com. And make the most of an incredible life transformation.
There's a new force to be reckoned with in talk radio. It's Not Just Talk Radio, hosted by LaTanya Jr. and co-hosts Tina Wynn and Tony Brown. Not Just Talk Radio is like a superhero, inspiring, problem-solving, and informing, packed with action-provoking conversations from news, movements, and social and politics issues. This program is about a wide range of voices and fresh points of view from experts, celebrities, and you, the listener. Not Just Talk Radio is broadcast live Wednesdays at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, 8 a.m. Pacific on the Voice America Influencers Channel.
Rebecca Hall Gruyter's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at SpeakerTalentSearch.com. That's SpeakerTalentSearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message.
Become a member of VoiceAmerica.com. It's easy, and best of all, it's free. Start out by going to our homepage or any of our channels and click Register at the top. Once you've created an account and signed in, you can create your own custom library, opt into our newsletter, search by show, host, guest, or topic of interest, or browse millions of hours of content across all of our Voice America radio channels. Membership gets you more. Visit VoiceAmerica.com today to get started and tailor the listening experience to your taste.
We don't follow, we lead. Join us, the Voice America Influencers Channel.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-866-472-5795. That's 1-866-472-5795. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to empowering women, transforming lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed those 2 minutes and the opportunity to stop, pause, breathe, connect, and check in. And we've been talking about discovering love and connecting with your feminine self and supporting yourself to be more of you, tapping into all floors to support you on your journey. And we're going to continue our conversation with our amazing next guest, Dr. Nancy Tarr Hart. She has over 40 years experience in business, education, and theater. She's a #1 international bestselling author, an intuitive and mystic. It's a beautiful mixture. She has a PhD in religious studies and is an assistant professor at NDMU. She is passionate about helping people look beyond the veil and gain a deeper understanding of the divine feminine. Please lean in and warmly welcome the powerful Dr. Nancy Tarr Hart to the show. Welcome!
Thank you.
You are very welcome. Glad to have you joining us today. And Dr. Nancy and I are getting to meet each other in person on Saturday for the first time. So we're excited about. I'm excited. I guess I shouldn't put words in your mouth. I'm excited.
No, I'm excited. I'm excited too. It's always nice to put the face with the voice.
Exactly. And I'd love for you to share why this work of helping empower people in this way, helping them look beyond the veil, why is that work personally so important to you?
I think it's twofold. First is it's interesting that some of these words have already come up, but things about the patriarchy, the way that our society has been leaning so heavily toward the masculine. Mm-hmm. And I think that, to me, we have been hiding things. Our society has been hiding things. They've always been there. It's just that they've been veiled. They've been camouflaged. They've been rewritten. And so I think that it's time to give the divine feminine her time and give her that platform, because doing that raises women and all others who feel like they have been treated as other in a very male-dominated society. Mm-hmm. So, that's actually both both answers. One is that we need to be able to see the truth that has been hidden from us, and the other is that it lifts people, that knowing that then will lift people up.
Thank you. I can feel your conviction and your power and your commitment to helping us in this way. It's so grounded and powerful. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
And I'm just kind of weaving this into a conversation around love, because how does this tie into us bringing more love into our life and more love into the world and maybe more healing into the world? How does that tie together?
Well, one of the things is that if we look at wisdom tradition, if we look at the tradition of wisdom, feminine wisdom, it is a tradition of love. It is not a spirituality or a religion that talks about the human being being sinful. It talks about human beings being blessed. And particularly, in our Western religion, women have been looked at as sinful since the time of Eve. So what happens is that with a wisdom, with wisdom teachings, we find ourselves able to forgive. Because one of the first steps to loving ourselves is being able to forgive ourselves for whether it's something actual or perceived. And also, it's acceptance. It's acceptance of ourselves as human beings, warts and all, and saying, hey, I love you just the way you are. Yeah, maybe there's some things I want to change, or maybe there's some things that I would like to do better, but it's our humanness. And so what happens is that once we are in the fullness of our being, we have become our divine self. We become love. We become the love that we are. And you know, and I was listening, you know, this being full of ourselves. We are full of ourselves. We are allowing that light to come out from under the bushel. And that's what the wisdom, that's what the divine feminine teaches us.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing and helping us see how these all tie together so beautifully and deeply, and that they are connected. We can't separate them out. And that's how we can lean in and bring love forward, bring healing to the world. But it starts with us and ourselves, and giving ourselves that grace and that healing and that understanding and that love, just as we are, like you said, warts and all. Not that we can't grow, but we love ourselves as we are, who we are, how we're created. And I'd love for you, our time is going so quickly. I was just looking at the clock here. And I wanted to let our listeners know you have a book coming out. And I want everyone, as you're resonating with what Dr. Nancy is sharing with us, that she has a book, it's volume 1, called Beyond the Veil, volume 1, Unmasking the Divine Feminine, Unmasking the Feminine, I should say. And that is coming out on March 13th. And I'd love for you just to share a couple of thoughts about why you're excited about it and something they can look forward to leaning in. And everyone write March 13th on the calendar, and I'll tell you why in a moment. I'd love for you to share from that.
Well, briefly, because this could be a 20-minute conversation, but briefly, I'm really excited about it because it is something that has been a long time in the making. It is the culmination of my doctoral thesis or dissertation, and it's half of it. That's why it's volume 1, and it just is something that I was a very adult student. I started my undergrad in 1999, and I got my PhD in 2013. And so this is a promise that I made to myself that this time I would finish it up. And this is part of that, finishing it up. And what can people learn? Hopefully they'll get a little bit of history, but it's a history that is important and that shows that we're just really lifting a veil on something that has been there, and a lot of what I talked about a little bit earlier. But I think people also can take away a new way of viewing themselves in relation to creation and to the Creator, however you define that.
Beautiful. Thank you. It's a very, very powerful book that unveils a step at a time. It walks you on a journey of lifting that veil a little bit at a time, each chapter that you go through. So thank you so much for joining us today, Dr. Nancy. Thrilled about your book. It's coming out. Listeners, again, I was having you write March 13th on the calendar because she's going to be doing a bestseller campaign offering this book for the first 24 to 48 hours for the special rate of $1. So watch for our posts about the book. Put it on your calendar. It'll be a beautiful addition to add to your library, and will support you in powerful ways. Oh, it has just been a joy to have each of you joining us today. Listeners, as you get ready to go back out into the world, remember to be full of yourself. Be willing to share out, lift yourself up, be more of who you are, share the gift of who you are with the world. Heart by heart, life by life, that's how we make the world a better place. But it starts with us. So be willing wherever you go, whatever you do, be willing to be full of yourself. Share the gift of who you are and bloom where you're planted and shine. We'll look forward to talking to you next week.
Thank you for joining us this week for Empowering Women, Transforming Lives. Please tune in again for another edition with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter, next Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 11 a.m. Pacific, on the Voice America Influencers channel. And join us for a replay of the show every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, 2 p.m. Pacific, on the Voice America Empowerment channel. Have a beautiful week, and may you always bloom where you're planted and shine.